A congressional staffer has been charged after allegedly entering a legislative building with a loaded handgun in his bag. The incident led to a brief lockdown on Capitol Hill Thursday. Capitol Police say 57-year-old Jeffrey Alsbrooks was taken into custody 8 minutes after he was screened. The gun was spotted on an X-ray. Alsbrooks reportedly told police he forgot the gun was in the bag. Alsbrooks is now facing 4 charges related to possession of a firearm and ammunition. Thanks, Kate. I'm at 3rd Street in downtown Steubenville, and it truly is a winter wonderland out here, especially right next to the lights at Fort Steuben. And with all of this snow behind me, I'm going to take a step out of the shot so that you can see 3rd Street. No traffic right now. You can see a few cars on the road, and the ones that are going very slow, just like that car that just passed us, because you can barely see the roads. You don't know where it ends or where it goes off into the shoulder of the road, and you can see some black spots where the ice and salt are trying to fight back to be seen, but the snow is just absolutely covering the roads. So make sure that you are staying safe and you're keeping a good distance from that car that is in front of you in case you do need to stop at any point. And we have been warning the temperatures are going to stay below freezing, so make sure you fill up that gas tank before you get home so that you can get out and going in the morning if you have to go to work or anywhere else. For now, reporting in Steubenville, I'm Addison Elbert with News 9. Yes, after speaking with Tuscarora County Sheriff Orvis Campbell, I learned that 2 men are now dead and 1 woman has life-threatening injuries after one of the men fired fatal shots in his home Sunday evening. The shooting took place in the kitchen of a married couple who lived at 3311 East Port Road in Denison, Ohio. Officials say the husband and wife have no criminal record, and the only call received from either of them was on Friday night about loud fighting coming from the couple. Police reported that the couple had physically separated for the weekend and that the wife's father had come to stay with her in the meantime. On Sunday evening, Tuscarora's 911 received a phone call from the wife calling for help when they heard gunshots and screaming in the background. Shortly after arriving on the scene, officials found both the wife's father and husband dead with gunshot wounds, and the wife in life-threatening condition. A handgun was found in the husband's hand. Sheriff Campbell says most of their evidence will come from electronic devices.
Evidence from the house, most of it is, there were a lot of devices. Phones, tablets, things like that. We'll be going through all those. A couple of those appeared to have been making an active recording. Not a video recording, but a digital recording. Now, this is not uncommon when people are having marital trouble and they get into an argument, and we don't know if they were arguing yet, but if they do, they often record each other.
Sheriff Campbell says this will be classified as a double homicide suicide. The wife's father is from Jefferson County and lived in Dillonvale with his wife. We will have more as details become available. For now, I'm Addison Elbert with News 9. 54-year-old David Sullivan is now sentenced on 516 counts of sexual abuse.
We don't have the death penalty in West Virginia. If we did, you surely would have it today.
Sullivan is being sentenced for sexually abusing a child from the age of 12 to 17 years old. Prosecutor Stephen Dragizic recalls the child's testimony saying the sexual acts occurred twice a week, every week, for 5 years.
She suffered each and every time Mr. Sullivan sexually abused her. And now he should suffer for each and every time he did this to her.
Although Sullivan pleaded not guilty, he did admit to the sexual acts during a recorded interview with officials.
Knowing that you confessed, and knowing that it was coming into court, you could have made it easier for her. You could have not allowed this to drag out for months and months. You could have pled. You didn't.
In a lot of these cases, you have a he said, she said, and he may deny it, and she would indicate that it did happen. There's other witnesses that would be called if they have any information regarding the case. But in this case, we essentially, Corporal McMahon testified at the trial. The young lady testified at the trial. Mr. Sullivan did not testify. However, we did play his statement for the jury.
Sullivan chose not to speak throughout the trial. His attorney tried to obtain lifetime of home confinement, saying Sullivan wrote a letter to the judge about his deteriorating conditions.
Not once in that letter did you express any remorse or contrition. The entire letter was based upon your deteriorating health condition and how you're begging the court for leniency and to lessen your sentence and to even let you out now without prison time, as your attorneys have asked. You need to understand that this court does not concern itself whatsoever with your deteriorating health condition.
Each of the 516 counts of sexual abuse carries a 10 to 20-year sentence. That is no more than 10,320 years consecutively in prison.
Accordingly, the court does hereby sentence you to serve all 516 counts consecutively, back to back, and immediately remand you into the custody of the Department of Corrections.
We wanted to make sure that Mr. Sullivan was never released from prison and had to face the consequences for what he put this young lady throughout her life.
Attorney Stephen Dragic says his goal was to seek the maximum sentence for Sullivan, and today he says justice was served. Reporting from the newsroom, I'm Addison Elbert with News 9. Home that was bought no more than a month ago caught on fire in Mingo Junction.
Upon arrival, it's a two-story duplex. The first duplex was occupied, the second was not. The homeowner just purchased the house, was at work, he said. There was fire showing out the Bravo Charlie side, and it spread through the structure.
3 fire departments arrived on scene to 107 Lincoln Avenue, including Mingo Junction Fire Department, Toronto, and Hillendale Fire Departments. Homeowner David Crow says he had just left his new home an hour before the fire started.
A normal day, going to work, turned everything off, just bought the house. My little brother called me, said my house is on fire because he lived next door to me. Now I got nothing.
2 cats were lost in the fire. No one was injured. Crow's younger brother lives next door and received heat damage to the siding of his home.
Now we're going to use Stracos and backhoes to help with overhaul. The structure is structurally unsound, so we're going to try to get the building pushed in on itself so it don't collapse on any nearby structures.
The fire was active for about 3 hours and reached heights of 30 feet.
It's going to have to rebuild, tear it down, build another house. I have no other options.
Demolition has already started on the home, and we will have more details as they become available. Reporting in Jefferson County, I'm Addison Elbert with